Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Mr. Paul Rogers.
Welcome again, everyone, to the Kentucky Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Trainers Dinner. It's been a privilege for me over the years to host this event, and I'm so glad all of you could be here. For all of the trainers, owners, everybody involved in the horses, the stable help, our main purpose here tonight is to celebrate your accomplishment of getting here, hoping everyone has a good, safe trip and a great experience. Unfortunately, only one can win, but that's what makes it such a great challenge it is. So welcome to all and best of luck to everyone. I want to recognize our sponsors who make this evening possible. Our hallway feed is our trophy sponsor, TwinSpires.com, our ADW sponsor. Our wine sponsor is Jackson Family Wines. Our stretch run sponsors, Ashford Stud, Tex Sutton, Thoroughbred Daily News, and Tito's Vodka. The Call to the Post sponsors, you can applaud yourselves, that's fine. Al's Complete Lawn Care, Blood Horse, Daily Racing Form, Equine Medical Associates, Farm Paint Tenda, the Haggard Equine Medical Institute, Horse Racing Radio Network, Kentucky Equine Research, NTRA Advantage, John Deere, the Pollock Report, Root and Riddle Equine Hospital, and Stark Equine Transportation. And our farm sponsors who pitch in as well, thanks to them, Adena Springs, Claiborne Farm, Crestwood Farm, Darby Dan, Gainesway, Hermitage, Juddmont, Pin Oak Stud, Spendthrift Farm, TaylorMade Stallions, and Three Chimneys. Thanks so much to all of you for helping make this event possible, and a round of applause for them. In recent years, I've been so privileged to have a co-host, whichever you want to call it, who knows the game as well as anyone. And I'm delighted that she's back with us again tonight. Unfortunately, she has deserted us for her native state of Virginia. But this time of year, we let Jill Byrne come back to Kentucky because she's very much a part of us as well. Jill Byrne has left us to go to her home state where she cheered on her Wahoos to more wins again over my beloved Cardinals, but to her credit, they went on and did win a national championship. So congratulations to Jill and Virginia, who she is now the vice president of racing at Colonial Downs, reopening that racetrack there and their casino operations. But back here, because we can't have a Kentucky Derby without my co-host, Jill Byrne.
Thank you so much, Paul. And I wore red for you tonight for your Louisville Cardinals, even though, we kind of took it to you this year. But yes, hey now, go Hoos. It was a big year to be back in Virginia, but I'm always ecstatic when I get to return to my old Kentucky home, Mare Fisher. Yes, I'm back, and it'll always be my other home, and has been my home for many, many years. And Churchill Downs as well, been my home for a long time. So to come back for the Kentucky Derby is always a great honor for me. A lot happening in our industry right now, but when I look around this room, I see all these different racing jurisdictions, entities, trainers who are all competitors on the racetrack, but we're all here in the room together for one reason, because we all support the horse industry and we all have the horse as our #1 priority. So when we can all gather together like we are here. And that's the most important thing that matters. I see trainers that have been at the Kentucky Derby multiple times with many wins, Bob Baffert, and then first-timers here who you will never forget this journey. I know for Bob, it doesn't matter how many you win, every one of them is special. And for the first-timers, enjoy every second of it, because it is the most magical experience, and it will make you want to come back time and time again to this amazing place at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. And one person who is not with us tonight, John Asher, who I know we're all thinking about right now. And when I think of John, he's up there with the Derby gods and smiling down on us and realizing that this is that time that was so special to him. And he would be saying to me, hey kiddo, get on with it. It's 4 days until the Kentucky Derby. Don't listen to the weatherman. It will be 75 and sunny at Churchill Downs on Saturday. So with that, let's get this show on the road. I'd like to introduce right now Braxton Lynch, the president-elect of the KTA and the KTOB. We're also big supporters of this event tonight. So Braxton.
Good evening and welcome to the Kentucky Thoroughbred Association's Derby Trainer Dinner. It's a busy time and we sure appreciate you coming out tonight. Congratulations to you all on making it here for Derby Week. While many of you have been on this stage before, it's nice to see several new faces. I'd like to extend a special welcome to the connections of Master Fencer, who have traveled all the way from Japan. Welcome to Kentucky and hope you have a wonderful week. A special thanks to Chauncey Morris, Vicky Garcia, Jenny McGahee for all they do at the KTA and KTOB. Also to our Churchill Downs contingent of Larry Conhorst and David Schneck. I'd like to recognize our friends from Frankfurt who have joined us this evening. Speaker of the House, the Honorable David Osborne. The Mayor of Louisville, the Honorable Greg Fisher. Louisville does an amazing job hosting the Kentucky Derby every year, and I love all the festivals that go with it. We have Secretary of State, or Secretary Gail Russell from the Cabinet for Public Protection. And Mark Guilfoyle and other members of the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission. Thank you for your leadership and support of the horse racing industry. We look forward to working with you to improve our game and move it forward. Horses contribute $6.5 billion to the Commonwealth's economy and employ over 78,000 Kentuckians. Horse racing is flourishing in Kentucky. We've seen positive signs in horse sales, our purses continue to rise, and the field sizes are increasing. Kentucky breds are performing well throughout the world, highlighted in 2018 by Justify winning the Triple Crown, and Roaring Lion taking home Europe's Cartier Horse of the Year award. If you want to breed and race the best, look no further than the hallowed grounds of Kentucky. 18 of this year's Derby contenders were foaled in Kentucky. I want to commend Bob Baffert on the incredible feat of training 2 Triple Crown winners over the last 4 years. Just when we thought we'd never see another one, and you came up with 2. Bob, you've been gracious in victory. Your generosity in sharing American Pharoah and Justify with the world was so important for our industry. When interviewed by the press, you showed your heart and soul and your appreciation and compassion for these 2 great athletes. You have become a great ambassador for our sport. Thank you for that. We are here tonight to celebrate the hard work that the trainers and their teams put in on a daily basis. The 2 charities that we will raise money for this evening are vital to the health and happiness of our backstretch workers. The Backside Learning Center and the Healing Place Lifestyle Program are both located on the Churchill Downs backstretch. I encourage all of you to stop in and see what incredible work these charities do to make the lives of our backstretch workers better. Finally, I'd like to take the time tonight to celebrate the thoroughbred horse and the great sport of horse racing. We have an amazing product in the thoroughbred athlete. These are incredible animals, and we all know that the people that work with them devote their time, energy, and passion to these horses because they love them. From the time each foal is born to the time they retire, there are hundreds of people dedicated to their safety in this room tonight that are leaders in our industry. Farm owners, consigners, racetrack owners, trainers, vets, racing owners, bloodstock agents, and so on. Let's enjoy this weekend and then get to work to find the common ground to forge one united path forward. Best of luck to you all on Saturday, and most importantly, come home safely. Now I'd like to introduce Mayor Fisher.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Louisville. Hope you're enjoying yourselves so far. We are really proud in our city to welcome all of you guys to the greatest 2 minutes in sports. As my friend Dale Roman says, from the horse trainer's perspective, what's so exciting about Derby Week is that on Saturday, somebody's life is going to change, unless you're Bob Baffert. Bob, you're wearing it well. Look, I know this is a competitive group, okay? I'm a competitive guy, so I recognize competitive people when I talk to you guys throughout this week. But props are due to Bob. It's hard to do sometimes with the second Triple Crown in 4 years, as was mentioned, after a 37-year gap. And Justify made Bob second in Derby wins to Ben Jones and earned him a spot alongside the legendary trainer Sonny Jim Fitzsimmons as the only trainers with 2 Triple Crown winners. And you probably figured out that Ben and Sonny Jim don't have 3 horses in Derby 145. It really doesn't seem fair, does it? But that's the way it is, and Bob, thank you for the way you carry yourself throughout this sport. I was born in Louisville. I haven't lived here my whole life, but yeah, let's hear it for Bob Baffert there. Bob? I mean, what's so thrilling about the Derby, and I'm a lifelong Louisvillian, is that whoever wins, we get to watch history being made. And it's really true each and every year. And this is an industry that, with all due love, I'm waiting to see what Santa Claus feel like every year. The end on that in recent history has really resulted in what I believe is the undisputed cathedral of thoroughbred racing at Churchill Downs. So hats off to Churchill Downs. I'd like for you all to be ambassadors for our city as well. I hope you're noticing about $14 billion of investment all throughout our city these past few years, and I hope you've noticed how Louisville is growing on the global stage as well. And I hope that you feel the love. From my office and all the citizens of Louisville, when they see you all here in our city, they just want to know how they can help you have a better time. It's the unpredictable and perhaps victory in the city makes us strong. John Asher was a Triple Crown winner for compassion. And I don't know if you all know that are in the industry, John was as well known in Louisville for his kindness and his giving heart as he was for being the voice of Churchill Downs and the voice of thoroughbred racing. So John was on almost every nonprofit board. If there was somebody in the city that needed a help, John was there very quietly, just taking care of business. That's who he was. And anytime I want to talk about John, I want people to remember that he would say, or Muhammad Ali would say here from Louisville, not everybody's going to be the heavyweight champion of the world, but everybody can help somebody. And that was John Asher's mantra as well. I hope you all, before you leave town, take a ride down John Asher Way. So yesterday, I was proud to be part of the ceremony where we named part of Central Avenue in front of Churchill Downs for John. His wife Dee was there, his daughter Heather was there, his brother Tim was there. And it's one of these things that we've all got enough birthdays on us in this room that it's really sad when people you love pass, and then sometimes it's really beautiful when we celebrate their lives as well. And that's what happened yesterday when we made Central Avenue John S. Asher Way. So be sure to check it out. What is it about horse racing? Why do people love it? I mean, it stirs something deep in the human spirit. It's just 5, Churchill Downs, Oak off here from our beautifully became part of the celebration for the winning horses and the jockey. Mint juleps also were part of the culture of the race from the beginning, and big elaborate ladies' hats as well. The Derby was designed to be a major spectacle around a horse race, and boy did he do a good job. The numbers tell the story of how much the Derby has grown. Our first winner, Aristides, he won that first Derby in 2 minutes and 37 seconds, now over 1.5 miles. The crowd was 10,000 people. Today, 170,000 on Derby Saturday. The purse was about $3 grand. Today, $3 million. The winning trainer was a former slave, Ansel Williamson, and the jockey was another African-American, Oliver Lewis. In fact, 13 of the 50 jockeys in that first race were African Americans. So in 144 years, through world wars, Prohibition, the Depression, the Great Flood in Louisville of 1937, Louisville has never missed a Derby, and we never will. You know, when people think about Kentucky from around the world, they think about thoroughbred horse races. They think about Muhammad Ali. They also think about bourbon. You all probably know that 95% of the world's bourbon comes from Kentucky. The other 5% is counterfeit. Stay away from it. So bourbon and thoroughbred racing are part of what makes Louisville, Louisville, and Kentucky, Kentucky. And we created something called bourbonism, bourbon and local food tourism. We're experiencing tremendous growth in our city, people coming from all over the world, and it's really just getting started. Bourbon only has 15% the global market share of Scotch, so we're going to continue to grow here. So if bourbon was a thoroughbred, it would be just a few lengths out of the starting gate. So we like that here in our city. So I really believe in racing. I believe in the future of racing. And yes, we all know there's some challenges that we have right now. But you all win through it. You're resourceful people. To win in this business like you guys have, you got to be an entrepreneur and you got to be scrappy. We got to get through it because people will always be compelled by the sight of these magnificent animals ridden by incredible athletes trained by brilliant, dedicated professionals. And that's why we're so blessed to have every year the Kentucky Derby in our city. And that's only possible because of you all. I want to say thank you so much. You've devoted your lives and careers to really something that's kind of unusual. You usually start 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Most people aren't crazy enough to do that. But something gets in your blood and gets in your spirit where you could not imagine doing anything else. And you do that so that you can show up here in Louisville, Kentucky on the first Saturday of May and see what's going to happen. And in 2 minutes, we're going to know. Whatever happens on Saturday, I want to say congratulations to each and every one of you. It's a magnificent feat just to be in the Kentucky Derby. And I want to thank you for making our city here, the great city of Louisville, the center of the world's attention every spring. And thank you for making the Kentucky Derby the greatest 2 minutes in sports. As John Asher would say, John would say if he was here, only 4 more days to Kentucky Derby, 145. So thank you, John, and thank you all for being here tonight. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Fisher. You know I love Louisville. As Braxton mentioned earlier, we would certainly not be here without all the charitable beneficiaries, and the KTA and the KTOB are in their 4th year of the commitment to the Backside Learning Center and the Healing Place. So certainly thank them for that, both of those again located at Churchill Downs. But besides all the profits from the dinner tonight that will be going to both groups, the KTA and the KTOB would like to recognize additional pledges of $10,000 from Lee Hall and Hallway Feeds to these two great organizations. Your turn.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to bring up Lee Hall, but first, before we do that, we do have one other thing we want to do, and that's show you exactly why we're all here and what everybody is shooting for from 1 year ago.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
How quickly the ferocity of what's about to happen comes into focus. The intensity, the danger, the consequences of what all this means for them, and how much it could change lives forever. The fastest horses in the world,
With the heart of a champion.
the greatest 2 minutes in sports,
In the final stride.
the Kentucky Derby.
Too close to call. They're off in the Kentucky Derby. And Justify had a good beginning. The expected pace setter Promises Fulfilled will go out to lead them. Justify is right after him, and Bolt Toro is close and just to the outside of them. Then Good Magic, Noble Indy on the outside. Flame Away is down toward the rail. Up the backstretch of the Kentucky Derby, and Justify is just to the outside of Promises Fulfilled. The two of them are matching strides on the lead. Justify takes the lead as they round the far turn. He opens up now to a length. Justify and Good Magic start to pull away from the others, and they're into the stretch. And it's Justify and Mike Smith turning for home in front. Good Magic and Jose Ortiz a length behind as they come into the final furlong. Bravazzo's down the center of the track, and then Audible on the inside, who's now up in a third. Justify a two-length lead as they come to the final 16. Good Magic on the outside is second. Audible third toward the inside, then it's still Regard. They're coming to the wire. He's jumped awesome. Justify has won the Kentucky Derby.
And to his dying day, John Asher insisted it was 75 and sunny at Churchill Downs. Please welcome Lee Hall from Hallway Feed to present the winning trophy to Bob Baffert. Lee.
Bob, if you'd come up, I'm going to present something to you. Just so you all won't be worried about my comments, I yielded my time to the mayor. So, I realize since he's not been here as often as most, the doors open and shut again at 9 p.m., so we're going to move along. On behalf of my colleagues from Hallway Feeds, I want to let you know how much we appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this great event each year. Lest I forget, we want to wish all a safe trip on Saturday. Hallway Feeds is proud that 13 of the entries in the Derby were raised on one of our specialized nursery products. And 9 of the athletes who start Saturday will be fueled by our feeds. 3 of those trained by the incomparable horsemen standing next to me. None of us in this room ever get to thank our customers, those who determine the success of our businesses, nearly enough. That is certainly the case with Bob. Hallway Feeds began feeding Bob's stable in 1997, and since then have been fortunate enough to celebrate with him 5 Kentucky Derby victories and 2 Triple Crown champion, the latest coming last year in Justify. It is in honoring Justify's win and Bob's masterful training skill that I have the pleasure of presenting the Trainer Champion Award from last year. Bob, thank you for 22 years of allowing us to serve you, and continued best of luck. Thank you. Thank you.
been lucky, going through last year with the WinStar, with Starlight and all the SF and everybody. You get to know everybody really well. And it's exciting, and tonight, come Saturday night at 6:30, whenever it is, there's a trainer in here that's going to be up here next year, and that's the beauty of it. The Derby is something that, that's why we get up, we dream about, and that's why we work so hard. But just to be here, you don't know how much I appreciate it, and I do miss John Asher, because he was the first one that would greet me at the barn when I got there, but he wanted to know what he could bet on, and he wanted to know what the beer money was, and I still think he's up there because he did not put the Derby favorite in the one hole.
Thank you, Lee. Governor Bevin, again this year, is giving away a julep cup to all of our trainers who are here. Be sure and get your julep cup as you leave the stage. Jill attractively modeling the julep cup. So each of you guys will get that, and of course at the end of the show, as we said, we will draw a name, and one of you trainers will get free airfare for your horse from Tex Sutton. All right, this is what we're here for. Let's meet the trainers. Jill?
Let's do it. Bob, we're going to start with actions of justice.
Try him. Oh my.
We're going to make it easy for you in the next one, too. Oh, snuck up behind there. You beat Bob up to the stage.
You guys up here in the middle.
Get you over here in the middle.
Have you guys ever met? Do you know each other? Have you been around each other at all?
I'm sick of him. I've seen him so much.
You know what? A few months ago, somebody says, "What do you think? Where's the Derby? Where's the Derby winner going to come from?" I think he's coming from this barn. But see, my barn is also connected to Richard's barn. And I should have never said that, but you know what? It is it's really, he's been smiling so much, I didn't know he had that many teeth.
All right, Richard, counterpunch.
Well, you have all heard such nice things about Bob Baffert. I got to tell you, when I got here, Larry Jones hosting me said, "That's your tack room, Dick." So I walked over to the tack room. There's a pair of training wheels in there, and I noticed the receipt was signed by Bob Baffert.
So, how do we get Omaha Beach to the wire first, the Kentucky Derby, which would put you on the road to catching up to Bob?
I'm working on it. Bob's been helping me realizing how...
I don't know. He just said something about the feed. You better look into that.
Yeah, but he's been helping me for a couple of years out there. I walk through the walking ring every day, and he gives me... All of a sudden, I might have a chance. So he started throwing some curveballs at me. Well, I went directly to Wayne Lucas, who's upset because he helped Bob when he was young, feeling bad for him. And now he's showing off and winning Triple Crowns and things. He said he's too big for his britches. He's going to help me a little bit.
Well, I think you have a good coach.
Yeah.
Bob, with your horse, the difference in last year when he was unbeaten and this year when he has not won, albeit very close in his races.
I'm really getting tired of Omaha Beach. He's just, I've thrown 2 really good horses at him, and that horse is digging in, but then he stole my jockey. That's really got me. That was a tough part. And so now, matter of fact, I came home, I told Jill, by the way, we lost Mike Smith. And Jill says, "I just lost my Derby buzz," but the thing is about it, it's a great race, and I'm glad to see guys like Bill Mott. He's got live shots and people that, because I wish every trainer, I've been so blessed and lucky, I wish every trainer could to feel what it's like to win the Derby, because it's something that is just, it's unbelievable. Even I've been there 5 times. It seems like I've won it the first time ever. And I know it's going to be a little bit tougher this year, but it's a tough field, and I'm just happy just to be here.
I think that
right,
probably
guys.
says for everybody here. Well, best of luck to both of you, and best of luck to Omaha Beach. One more.
Well, I gotta say, I'm just kidding.
Can't back off now.
Sometimes. But you have to admire what this man's done.
Absolutely.
Bob, stay
All
here. We
right.
got another one of your horses.
Thank you, Bob. You get to stay. And this one will have Florent Giroux aboard, and then game winner, last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner here at Churchill Downs, also a Keeneland grad.
But now Instagram called on and he fights back. Instagram game winner. Roadster is finding his best stride in the center of the track, putting in a big effort. Game winner between horses. Instagram at the rail, and here's Roadster storming home. Roadster on the outside, and game winner go on with it. Roadster so confidently handled, and Roadster gets up to win the Santa Anita Derby ultra impressively.
Well, like Improbable, game winner comes up short twice, but at least you beat him with your own horse this time. Were you conflicted?
You know what? Never sit in the box with one of the owners that has a horse in the race. It can be a little bit awkward, but you know, game winner, you know, we were always really high on Roadster, and he missed some time there, but it was exciting to see Roadster, you know, win that race. And game winner, he ran a, you know, he's run like two solid races, and so, but Roadster, he was, you know, we always call him the TMZ horse because he's the one that I got interviewed by TMZ last July, and I just happened to have him in the barn. He was working well, so we were always high on him, and I really didn't think he would make it to the Derby in time, but you know, things start happening, and you know, the magic starts happening, and so you know, I just feel real fortunate that he's in there.
You got here with Justified last year, who won in only his fourth start, and now I guess we're all thinking, well, it can be done. But still, it's not easy to get a horse to this level that quickly in his career.
No, you know, you have to be a really, you know, all these 3-year-olds, they're elite thoroughbreds, and it takes that kind of horse to get in this race. And so when you have a horse like that, you know, like everybody says, well, the Derby doesn't seem that tough. These are really good horses. I think there's a lot of parity, and everybody's got there's like, you know, 10 horses in there that could win this thing. And so, but I just feel fortunate that, you know, we got here and to have 3 in it. You know, last year I came here with you know, we knew we had a super horse on our hands, and I didn't mess it up. And Jill could have trained that horse. I mean, I've never, you know, I thought for sure, you know, he had a chance to get by that horse, but, you know, Omaha Beach just dug in, wouldn't let him by, and he came back, and it looked like he was going to win the Santa Anita Derby, and I don't think he saw Roadster coming, and so, so I think now he's had like 2 tough races to get him ready, and I know he likes the mile and a quarter. Now he can, you know, Joe can ride him, you know, confidently, just sit back there and run, but I think the weather's going to have a lot to do with that. And for some reason, the weather people in Kentucky, they don't seem to get it right. And, you know, I really think there's conspiracy theory going on. As soon they tell you it's going to be beautiful, and as soon as Churchill has sold every ticket in every box, the Weather Channel says, by the way, I heard today, bring your poncho. So, so I just hope we get some good weather and a nice track.
You're going to watch it by yourself and let the different owners duke it out.
I think I'm going to I should have kept that poncho I was wearing last year.
Thank you, Bob. Good luck.
Thank you, Bob Baffert. Predicting the weather in Louisville is like predicting the Kentucky Derby winner in this very tough field. So I'll invite Brett Calhoun and Todd Pletcher up to the stage while we take a look at the Louisiana Derby from New Orleans. And Louisiana Derby this year, the winner by my standards, Brett Calhoun, the trainer of this one for Allied Racing. Upset winner of the Louisiana Derby over Spinoff for trainer Todd Pletcher.
My Standards. On the outside is Country House looking to gain ground as they come for home with under a quarter mile to go. War of Will's in traffic and still well back and still a lot to do for War of Will with a furlong to go. And it's Spinoff who's taking a short lead from a battling By My Standards. Spaniel, then Country House. It's Spinoff and By My Standards for Gabriel Saez. It's By My Standards and Spinoff. By My Standards at 22 to 1 to win the Louisiana Derby.
Brett Calhoun with By My Standards. That was
You guys are friends. You can get close together. It's all right.
That was a pretty strong move for him finishing up that race. And I don't know, did it surprise you or not?
I wouldn't say it surprised us, but you know, to come in there and off a maiden win and step up like that, yeah, you know, we had a lot of confidence in him, but it was a big step up.
You have been around Churchill Downs a while. How special is it to be a part of this show?
Oh, it's everything. You know, it's the greatest race in the world.
Well, Todd, you've been fortunate to win this race a couple of times. Now, watching that race again, I hadn't seen it since the day it ran. I thought you were home free there. That long stretch of the fairgrounds got to you.
I thought he ran really well. It was only his second start of the year, and he won an allowance race at Tampa. Been off since Saratoga, so it was a good effort. I think Brett's horse has proven since then the way he's trained. He looks to be a very good horse, and you know, I think our horse has a chance to move forward, which he'll need to do, but he's given us the right indications at the moment.
So you heard Bob and Richard Mandela up here talking about, you know, Bob's won this a few times. You've won it a couple times. Any advice for Brett?
I mean, it looks like his horse is training great from the videos I've seen of his breezes, and you know, looks like he's been here for a while, and Brett knows how to win races, so I'd say the horse has a big chance.
Brett, the people who saw your horse all winter in New Orleans just raved about not just that race, but and his races, but his training, his whole appearance. How do you know when a horse is really thriving like that? What are the things he does that shows you that?
Well, you know, the horse always trained well, but after his maiden win, he just became a different horse. I mean, you could see it in the mornings. His works went from very good to spectacular. And I mean, that's what we do, and we're watching him every day, you know, probably too much. Dote over him and makes us nervous all the time, but you just know.
So there's always a lot of backside buzz going on, and not necessarily about the horses. And I've been told that a big part of the conversation has to do with grooming, and not grooming of the horses, but your hair.
Well, you know, you got to play the weather, you got to play the wind. It's something you got to always be ready for.
I was told to ask you if you would have a firm hold on Saturday.
Well, as you guys said, the weatherman's is not right very much here, but if it's the way he's playing, I'm going to have a little firm hold.
All right, thank you both. Todd, you get to stay up here. Well, we're going to head out to New Mexico now for the Sunland Derby, won by Cutting Humor, the man standing next to me here. So let's take a look at Sunland Derby. And Cutting Humor, who is a son of First Samurai and owned by Starlight Racing. Corey Landry will be aboard this Keeneland.
Down, Cutting, Twist of Fate.
7, so I think it was a quality race, and you know, I like the way he's training. So again, got to step up in what seems to be a very deep field, but we're really pleased with the way he's coming into it.
And you've had a lot of success with the ownership team here, Starlight Racing, and local. They're all from Louisville, from Kentucky area. So how important is that to you to have a horse for them in the Kentucky Derby again?
Well, we've been fortunate to have several that we've run. It'd be great to you know, be able to step up and win one, but a lot of fun for them and for, you know, most of the team being from Louisville. I think it's even extra special.
You know, Bob talked about how special it is to win the Kentucky Derby. Win it once, win it twice. Does it ever get mundane coming back here?
No, it doesn't. And you know, the great thing about it is every year it's a new horse. It's a, you know, potentially new ownership group. So like Bob said, I think part of what makes it so fun from our end is seeing the excitement for the owners and how, you know, how much thrill they get from it.
All right. Thank you, Todd, and best of luck to you. You get to go sit down. All right, next we're going to head up to New York and to Aqueduct for the Wood Memorial, Tacitus, Tax, and Haikal. And Tacitus, owned by the Juddmonte Farms, trainer Bill Mott will have 2 in this year's Kentucky Derby. Danny Gargan sending out Tax. And then the 3rd place finisher in there from the Shadwell stable and Kieran McLaughlin, and that is Haikal. Let's take a look at
And
the
they're
Wood
into the
Memorial.
stretch. And here comes Tax and Tacitus. And the 2 of them are right together as they come to the 8th pole. Longshot Math Wizard has run a big one. He's 3rd on the outside. Tacitus on the outside. Tax along the rail. Tacitus and Tax locked in battle at the 16th pole. It's Tacitus in front. Tax second on the inside as they come down to the line. Haikal takes 3rd late. It is Tacitus in the Wood Memorial.
Oh, impressive performance there, Bill. And Tacitus, one of 2 that you're sending out, but down the stretch there, a little bit of weaving and back and forth.
Still a little green, I suppose. I think he's learning. He's been a little bit of a late developer. I think the basic ability is there. I think the class is there, and hopefully he'll keep improving, which he'll have to do.
And I know, we've all been speaking a lot about John Asher and his absence, and a huge fan of yours always, as long as you've been at Churchill Downs. And I know John sitting up there with the Derby gods would love to see one of these with your name on it one day.
Well, he was a great guy, and it was always good to see him every spring when we arrived at Churchill. And I know a lot of people have missed him, and I can tell by the comments that everybody's made up here tonight that how loved he really was.
Bill, Tax endured some real combat through the first turn of that race, and that's something going into a Derby that obviously could be beneficial, because there's not been many Derbies without a little bit of bumping going on somewhere.
Well, he ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun out there.
Well, and Danny, so speaking of a little fun.
I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. My father rode for Bill Mott. I'm taking the mic. But my father rode for Bill Mott. I was a jock's age. I used to ride all his horses, right, Bill?
That's right.
Yeah, used to ride every horse. And
Hey, Danny, will you
I'm a lucky
host
guy
us next
to become
year?
a horse trainer. But the only reason I'm here is because this guy, who's to my right, he's the guy that talked me into running my horse in the Remsen. Right, Karen?
I wish I would have told you to go to the turf.
Yeah, but he talked me into running my horse in the Remsen. That's why we're here today. I'm here with my father's best friends, and to my right's the guy that's made me get to the Derby. I mean, who else is better than this? I'm just luckiest guy in the world. And I can think it all to Karen right now, because I would not have run my horse in the Remsen if Karen wouldn't have talked me into it. And as a kid growing up, I worked, my whole life on the backside of Churchill. Everybody knows that. But Karen told me one day when we worked that horse, he said, "Danny, you got to run him in the Remsen." And I said, "No." Because I like to be the favorite. I said, "No." I took him out of maiden 50. Who's going to run the Remsen? Really? Because I like to be 4 to 5. Everybody knows that's what I do. I win high percentage. I said, "No." And he said, "No, you're going to run this horse in the Remsen." I said, "No." And then I thought about it that night, and Dave Grennan called me and said, "Shug's not running. Your horse is live." And I said, "No." But long story short, here we are. But if it wasn't for Karen McLaughlin, he flew in the jet with me today. I put him in the jet with me today. And that's why I'm in the Derbies, because Karen McLaughlin.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Karen, your horse was 3rd in this race, and the Wood is a race that in recent years, horses have not had great success in the Derby, but it's a race with a long and rich history. It looks like it might have been a key race this year.
Why don't we go back to the Gotham? Bob Baffert flew in from California, and I ran right by him in the Gotham. I said, "Shit, I beat a Bob Baffert Derby horse." I didn't know he was 5th string, but it was fun to win the Gotham.
Danny, I want to know if Central High School has invited you out for career day or anything.
I hope so soon, but I'd still like to thank Bill Mott for riding my jock's first call. And I'd like to thank Karen McLaughlin for getting me to the Derby. Because if it wasn't for Karen McLaughlin, I wouldn't be in the Derby. Let's have some fun, guys. Let's have some fun out here. Karen McLaughlin got me to the Derby.
And as we said earlier, they may all be competitors on the track, but you know what? They all are actually friends, believe it or not. But I don't know, Kieran might be regretting that one on Saturday. Friends and family, that's exactly right. Thank you, Danny, for
Jill,
livening
since you
that
moved
up.
to Virginia and Danny's a Louisville guy, your spot might be up for grabs next year. I'm not sure.
Well, that certainly livened us up here. Let's keep it going. Let's move right along to the Risen Star. Hey, Bill, you're not
Bill,
supposed Bill,
you gotta stay.
You got to stay. You get to stay. Let's take a look at the Risen Star from the fairgrounds in New Orleans. And that was War of Will, Mark Cassidy, the winner, another Keeneland grad. And followed up by the Bill Mott trained Country House for breeder Joe Shields.
As they come for home at the quarter pole, and it's War of Will who leads them into the fairground stretch. 3/4 in 1 minute 12.20 seconds. It's War of Will coming down to the final furlong, staying on his Country House. The Dump had a take up off of heels. Charging on the outside, Hog Creek Hustle. They come inside the final 16th. It's War of Will, chased on by Country House. And won the Risen Star from Country.
Between the 10 draws, and I said, no. He said, so you can go to the bathroom and throw up after you draw the 1 hole. So he made me feel a lot better. It made me laugh. But no, we're good. And you want to know about what I'm doing for my hair?
I do, yes. I was just thinking that. It crossed my mind.
Absolutely nothing.
And you're lucky you don't have to. You know, you talked about drawing the 1 post. Well, Bill, we're kind of bookends here. You're on the far outside in the 20. We didn't plan that, by the way.
I don't think it'll hurt our horse. I think with his running style, I mean, he's gonna drop back anyway and give him a clear run down to the turn. So I think that'll give him a shot to get his position and try to make a late run and pick up some pieces.
You know, we were watching that race, and it looked like your horse, again, weaving down the stretch. Both your horses have a little direction problem.
Looks like I better check out the power steering on both of them, I believe.
Well, as we saw in that, too, when they're coming down the stretch, and that was, you know, even in a prep race, all the crowd of horses, when they leave that gate, you in the 1 post, you in the 20 post, as soon as those gates open, I mean, there's nothing you can do.
I hope the 2 of us don't meet at the first turn, is what I'm hoping.
All right, thank you both.
I want to say he's always been my idol. And not only is he a great trainer, but he's a great man.
I second that.
Thank you, guys.
Now let's head over to Keeneland for the Bluegrass Stakes. And this one was won by Vacoma. Vacoma with a big effort for trainer George Weaver in the R.A. Hill and Gaston stables. Another Keeneland grad, appropriately winning the Bluegrass Stakes. And runner-up, Mike Trombetta's Win, Win, Win
to the top of the stretch.
for Live Oak
Market
Plantation.
King is in 4th. Chess Chief is 5th, back toward the inside. Coming toward the 8th pole. Vacoma has the lead out to 2 lengths now. Some Like It Hot Brown changes lanes to the outside 2nd. Signalman is in 3rd. Chess Chief is 4th. Win, Win, Win is 5th. Vacoma, the leader, past the 16th pole. He has the advantage out to 5 lengths. Back to Some Like It Hot Brown, Signalman, then Win, Win, Win. It is Vacoma for Javier Castellano and trainer George Weaver.
And trainer George Weaver, who is a Louisville native but hasn't made it into town yet, so unfortunately not here, but I know this has to be a very proud moment for him to be running in the Kentucky Derby.
So we have Michael Trombetta with runner-up Win, 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 who placed in that race, but a terrific finish for him. He made up a lot of ground.
He did, and I can't figure how George didn't make it when he lives right here.
We'll ask him that. Tell us a little bit about the path of getting him to the Derby, and was the Bluegrass important to you to see him have that type of race coming into a longer race here?
Well, the Bluegrass was all or nothing. He had to be second to get a chance here, and you know, he encountered a little bit of trouble, but fortunately he stuck it out and was able to get up for second.
It's been what 12 years since you were here? Am I close?
2006.
Okay, 13 years. How do you feel like you're familiar with the surroundings, or has that been too long ago?
It's familiar, but it went by pretty fast.
This industry has a habit of doing that for certain. But coming back here with a horse like this, very interestingly named, appropriately named, by Hat Trick, Win, Win, Win. So I think certainly has the name of a Kentucky Derby winner.
Well, I'm a little embarrassed to say I had him in the barn for about 9 months before I even figured it out myself. I've read about it, and I said, oh, so that's, you know, where it came from.
Naming of horses.
Learn. Yep.
Thank you, Mike. Good luck.
Thanks, Mike. Best of luck. We'll head down to South Florida and Gulfstream Park for the Florida Derby, won by Maximum Security. For trainer Jason Service, this horse previously running for $16,000, now winning the Grade 1 Florida Derby for owners Gary Mary West, and the runner-up, that Code of Honor. Trainer Shug McGahee won this race before with Orb.
Security cuts the corner and opens up. Maximum Security, less than a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Second is Bodie Express. He's running a huge race down at the inside in Code of Honor. Hidden Scroll at a one-pace, Bourbon War on the outside. But Maximum Security proves he's the real deal with a gate-to-wire win in the Florida Derby. Bodie Express was second. Code of Honor finished third.
Come on, Shug. Jason Service as well. Hasn't made it into town yet to see Maximum Security, but hopefully on his way in. Trainer Shug McGahee. Shug, step on over here. Paul can interview you on that side, but you know, you've been fortunate to be in that Derby winner's circle with Orb, and now coming back for your clients with Lane's End with Code of Honor. This has to be a really exciting time again to be back in Louisville, you being a Kentucky native.
Well, it's always, as we all know, it's exciting to be here Derby week, and Louisville does such a great job, and Churchill does such a great job. It's fun to be here when you think you got a chance, and to be able to win the Derby in 2013 was something that meant a lot to me. And you know, as somebody told me, said, "Really, Shug, it's just the bait," and they were right. You know, you always want the opportunity to get back. And
Youth. And Florida
comes back to us. I think he'll be in a position to have a good chance.
Do you look at the field and say, okay, these are the horses that maybe could push him? Obviously, you hope someone does, and it's probably not going to be you.
It won't be us. You know, if it is, it's a mistake. And I don't think Johnny will make a mistake. But, you know, I mean, when you look at it on paper, you think, well, there is speed in here. There's some people who are going to be kind of aggressive. And so, you know, I think if we do get a legitimate pace, especially from the post we're in, that we'll be in the position to have a chance to make a run at it.
I saw this, I believe it was last week. You, Richard Mandela, Bill Mott, all ran your first Derby in 1984. Did you ever think back then what might be happening 30 years down the road?
No, I didn't realize that either. But, I mean, obviously Dick's a West Coast guy, but Bill and I have competed for years and years, whether it was here, or Churchill, Oak Lawn, or wherever. And it's been, you know, fun competition. And, you know, nothing but my greatest respect for not only all the trainers, but the people that I've, you know, competed with, like Mandela and Bill on a great scale. And, you know, it's just fun to have the opportunity to do it again.
Welcome back. Good luck.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Let's head out to Oaklawn Park for the Rebel Stakes, which was split in 2 divisions this year. We're going to look at Division 1 and Long Range Toddy. Long Range Toddy for Willis Horton Racing. Steve Asmussen, Johnny Court will be aboard.
Improbable 3 wide. The 3 of them line up at the top of the stretch. Galilean nearest the rail. Improbable in the center. Extra Hope is between horses, and Improbable slingshots to the front. Improbable now a length and a half in front. Long Range Toddy is running a very big one in the center of the track. Improbable, Long Range Toddy trying to gun him down. Improbable, here's Long Range Toddy. The 59th Rebel.
Steve Asmussen ran him down in the final strides. How confident were you about the middle of the stretch?
Well, he ran a great race that day, obviously. We're hoping for a fast racetrack again this Saturday, and the weatherman might be wrong.
Well, we don't wager on the weatherman.
Okay.
Not in this state.
Good.
Tell us about this horse. The last race he ran, he did not have the closing kick. What, if anything, happened?
Well, I do think it was the racetrack itself and stuff. Horse worked beautifully here over a fast racetrack on Monday. And I think for our best chance, we would hope for similar conditions.
And the ownership of this horse, Willis Horton, a real character in racing, and probably arrive in jeans and a cowboy hat.
Well, absolutely. I think that the horse's name fits the ownership group very well. And he will be in town for a good time, and you know what a great supporter of horse racing he's been and continues to be.
Well, it's always good to have you back here, back in the Kentucky Derby as well. Best of luck with Long Range Toddy. We'll be looking
Thank you
forward
very
to
much.
seeing Willis
Thanks, Steve.
Horton. And now we're going to head all the way over to Dubai and take a look at the UAE Derby. Pluska Parfait and Gray Magician. Brendan Walsh sending out Pluska Parfait, a huge win in the Dubai Derby, and a fantastic runner-up from the Peter Miller trained Gray Magician. Let's take a look at the UAE Derby.
Down the outside, Grey Magician and Plaku Parfait over on the inside. Manguzi joined by Grey Magician. Plaku Parfait pushing hard along the inside.
The winner there. By the way, going over for that race and coming back. So does that make it twice as hard, or have you undone the trip by coming back here?
I guess I've undone it.
Tell us about that. It is unusual. We have not seen that, a horse really based here, or you're here, your horse was at the fairgrounds, went over there, why, and then come back.
Well, you know, the owners are based partially in Dubai, and they planted a seed about 6 months ago to possibly bring the horse over there. And when things went a little off track at the fairgrounds, we moved the horse down to Florida because he was going to fly out of Miami anyway, if he was going to go to Dubai. So we said we'd see how he'd do down there, and he turned inside out in Florida, and he did great. So we said, why not take a shot? And we sent him out there, and the rest is history.
It's such a long way to go to take a shot. And as you mentioned, he had not been really doing that well, at least in his races at the fairgrounds. What switched it around?
I don't know. Maybe he was going through some kind of a stage in the fairgrounds. He just you know, in hindsight, maybe he was growing, or you know, I don't really know. I can't put my finger on it. But when he went to Florida, he absolutely turned on his head, and he got better and better. And when he got to Dubai, he did better again. And I think he showed that in his race. So thankfully, it all worked out.
Yeah, the move he made, it was right about where we started that video. It was a very bold move to come through there late. And when you saw that, that's a sign of a pretty aggressive racehorse.
Yeah, no, listen, he was a very good 2-year-old, and he was a legit Derby horse as a 2-year-old, and, you know, things went off kilter, and, you know, hopefully we've got him back on track, but we'll find out on Saturday.
As you can tell, Brendan didn't grow up in Louisville, but you've been here a while. This is kind of your home, isn't it?
Yeah, this is like a second home now. It's not exactly home, but yeah, no, listen, it's very special because, you know, I've lived here now for 12 years, and the Derby is huge. I mean, it's massive, and to come back and be a part of it, and look around tonight and see the trainers that you're competing with. These are all guys that I looked up to, and it's a privilege more than it is anything. So it's fantastic.
Any strange pronunciations you've had of your horse's name? I've heard several different. Pluska Parfait is what we've told. What are some of the better ones you've heard?
I've heard it all at this stage. They mash my name all the time. Nobody can seem to even say Brendan right. So their chances of saying my horse's name right are slim to none.
Brendan, not Brandon, and Pluska Parfait. What was the French meaning of the word?
It gets butchered all the time. It's Pluska, more than perfect. Yeah.
More than perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I have confidence that Travis Stone will say it correctly on Saturday. Best of luck to you, Brendan. And we are absolutely honored this year to have a contender from Japan in Master Fencer as he qualified on the Japan Road to the Kentucky Derby. So honored that they have brought this horse over to compete in America's Kentucky Derby.
カリーナ外から差を詰めて直線へ内に入った3番のオーバーレンダーそれは5番のブラックウォリアそして外から8番のデアフルーグがやってきたそしてその後方外から7番のマスターフェンサーも連れて追い込んでくるあと 150m 一気に抜けた8番デアフルーグ2番手には7番マスターフェンサー3番手に4番ラインカリーナ体勢消した8番デアフルーグゴールインこれで無傷の3連勝
All right, Paul.
Hopefully either Travis Stone or Larry Collins can interpret that race for us.
Okay.
We're going to deal with an interpreter here. We'll do two mics.
Yeah, here, step over here. So basically, I mean, this has to be so exciting to have a starter in the Kentucky Derby, the world's most famous race, and coming over from Japan. Just tell us about what this experience has been like.
競馬自体は本当に世界のホースマンがこのレースに出たくてもう願ってなかなか叶わないレースなんですけれども、今回このケンタッキーダービーの遠征をしてきて今までの経験というか感想を教えてください。
もちろんすごいレースなのは分かってるんですけど、人気もないので本当に気楽に行ってるんですけど、ここに選ばれたっていう時点で、ここのケンタッキーの美味しいお寿司屋を食べに来たと思ってます。行きたいと思ってます。
Because of that, we are not the favorite for the American racing fans, so we came here in Kentucky to find the best sushi bar in the world. 大丈夫ですか？大丈夫ですか？ Sorry, his alcohol is almost running out, so quick interview will be appreciated.
緊張してるけど、
Yes.
マスターフェンスは緊張してないんで。
And I can vouch for it. That is what he said. I could hear him really good. Having not been through the Derby Day experience yet, do you have a feel for how massive and how festive and how rowdy the crowd and the whole environment is?
今回のケンタッキーダービーが初めての経験かと思うんですけれども、この例えばすごい群衆であったりとか、皆さん歓声があったりとかですね、いろいろ感想はあると思うんですけれども、どういった印象を抱いていらっしゃいますか？
いやもう人気もないので、もう気楽に当たって砕けろで行きたいと思います。
Yeah, as I said, he is not the favorite for the American racing fans, so that's why feel like go for broke.
I like that attitude. Well, I mean, this is just so exciting for Americans to have Japanese horse, again, running in the Kentucky Derby and going through the process of getting over here. So we certainly are honored to have you here and very proud to see Master Fencer on the track. And anything else you'd like to say to bringing this horse over here and what this is like?
日本からわざわざマスターフェンサーをここまで連れてきていただいたことにアメリカの競馬ファンとしてはすごく感謝をしてるんですけれども、最後に何かおっしゃりたいこととか一つ感想ありますか？
もう勝ちに来たので応援してください。
So yeah, we're here to win this race. So let's enjoy this greatest moment. Thank you.
That is what it is all about. Enjoying the moment, and everybody here enjoying what the Kentucky Derby is all about.
It's a long road to greatness. They're off in the Kentucky Derby. They're coming to the wire. He's just awesome. Justify has won the Kentucky Derby. It was very. But I walked through the flames and I'm standing here. They're off in the Wood Memorial. It is Tacitus in the Wood Memorial.
Magician went with it. Baku Parfait in front of her. Baku Parfait takes it out.
It is Vacoma for Javier Castellano and trainer George Weaver.
Improbable, well on his way to remain undefeated, and now a grade one.
And Roadster gets up to win the Santa Anita Derby. Maximum Security proves he's the real deal with a gate-to-wire win in the Florida Derby. Omaha Beach, yes! Code of Honor is going to hang on to win the Fountain of Youth 3 points of a leg.
They come for the finish. It is Haikal to win the Gotham.
War of Will runs out impressively in the LeCompte, 1 by 4.
These three coming down to the line in the winners, and Tex does it.
Probable, here's long range Toddy. With every stride as they go to the wire, Cutting Yuma just got in.
And now, win, puts them away and does it so impressively.
By high standards at 22-1 to win the Louisiana Derby.
Ray Magician and Flavion Pratt pounding home to an easy win.
Catching win indeed for Country House. Wins wrapped up in the end.
Spin off, he's in front and riding clear. Dropping for something down the line. 体勢消した8番デアフリーグ
Doesn't know how to lose. He's game winner in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Good luck to everyone. Don't leave yet. We have our drawing for free airfare on Tex Sutton. Jill, I'll let you draw. He's not here. Somebody missed a big opportunity. Master Fencer. This is for one-way travel on any scheduled destination on Tex Sutton. I don't think they fly to Japan. I don't know if we can get you home, but we can get you to the Preakness or Belmont, okay? Thanks to my partner, Jill Byrne. Thanks to you for being here. Best of luck. Safe trip for everyone. See you back here next year, everyone. Thank you very much.
Happy Derby.